Hello everyone, welcome back to the In Shape Online Coaching YouTube channel. If you're new here, I'm Ryan Lewin. I'm an evidence-based nutritionist and personal trainer, and I've been working as an online coach for the last 4 years. Before that, I was working for one of the biggest personal training companies on the planet after completing my MSc in exercise physiology. I've been putting content out on other social media platforms for a while now, but this year I decided I wanted to start a YouTube channel to put out some long form content and help whoever consumes it with their own body composition goals, whether that's fat loss or building muscle, or just general health and performance. And today I'm going to take you through my current supplement stack as I push my body through a photo shoot prep where I'm looking to get in my best ever shape in 2025. So far, I'm 7.5 kilos down and I'm pushing for another 5 or 6 kilos of fat loss over the next 8 weeks, which means I'm going for it. It's going to be a big calorie deficit with lots of training. So to support my body through the process with performance, health and recovery, I do take some supplements because naturally, whilst I'm in a fat loss phase and my deficit is quite big, my food is a little bit more limited. So supplements become more beneficial in a period like this because it just helps top up levels of things that might be a little bit low or missing from my diet in general. Now there are some supplements that I recommend taking year round, and I personally take year round, and then there are some supplements that I'm currently taking that I will only really use when I'm in an intense period of fat loss or really going for it with my physique goals like I am right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through each of the 9 supplements. I'll let you know which ones I tend to take year round and then which ones I'm currently taking for performance purposes during the photo shoot prep. Okay, so the first supplement that I recommend to pretty much every client that I work with and for myself is an omega-3. As a nutritionist, I call this a nutraceutical. And the reason for that is it has so many benefits within the body, and getting enough good quality omega-3 from oily fish is quite a challenge, especially when you're in a calorie deficit and most of the protein that I'm currently eating is coming from lean protein sources. So getting enough omega-3s whilst sticking to lean protein and not having that much oily fish is quite tough. Omega-3 is good for inflammation, it's good for mental health, it's good for joint health. Honestly, genuinely, like the list of benefits that it has, it's good for cardiovascular health, it's good for the immune system. Like, it has so many benefits. So I tend to take an omega-3 year round, whether I'm dieting for a photo shoot or just training generally in the gym or just wanting to look after my health in general. Ideally, what you're going to look for is something that's got, I'd say, between 300 and 400 milligrams of EPA, and then you want something that's going to have at least 200 milligrams of DHA in it as well, just to make sure you're getting a good dose. Like, do your research first and just make sure the doses are okay and make sure it's coming from a credible supplement provider. And if you ever have any questions on a specific brand or a specific product, you can always tag it in the comments below or shoot me an email, ryan@inshapenutrition.co.uk, and I'll gladly give you my evidence-based perspective on what I think to that particular product. Right, the next supplement that I tend to take year round is a vitamin D. Now, I actually currently live in Greece where the sun is shining a lot more than it was in the UK, but I still spend a lot of my time inside coaching clients, making content. So it's not like I'm sunbathing all day, every day. So to get enough vitamin D from the sun, it largely depends on how much skin you've got exposed and how long you spend in the sun. So even living in a sunny country, I still take vitamin D because I don't get to spend that much time outside. Now, if you live in a country like the UK or somewhere where the weather isn't great, a lot of the time, then you are at higher risk of being deficient in vitamin D. Vitamin D is so important for immune health, bone health, mental health. So it's always worth adding in a vitamin D. I take this again year round. This is one of those that it doesn't matter whether I'm in a photo shoot prep or just generally wanting to look after my health and performance, I'll always take a vitamin D. Now, the reason I've got 2 is because during the winter months, between say October and March, I will take a 5,000 IU dose of vitamin D. And then as we get into the summer months where I do get a bit more sunlight, I just taper the dose down to 2,000 IUs. And the reason for that is we can store vitamin D in the body, and you don't want too much vitamin D because it can be toxic in really, really high doses. So because I'm getting a bit more sunlight and because I've been taking a high dose all year, I'll then taper it down in the winter months. Okay, number 3 is a multivitamin and mineral. So I don't actually take a multivit all the time. I just tend to take it when I'm in a fat loss phase. Even though I am eating a really nice amount of fruit, veg and salad, the variety isn't that great because I'm just sticking to the same meals pretty much all the time. So there's a list of 6 or 7 different plants that I'm eating in quite high volumes. When I'm not in a fat loss phase, that tends to be quite a lot broader in terms of the range of different plants that I'm eating. So I just take a multivit. It's not going to hurt, and it just supports my body a little bit more through the process, just making sure I've got enough of the vitamins and minerals that are going to support health and performance and recovery as well to some degree. So I always add in a multivitamin whenever I'm dieting, but I don't tend to use it when I'm not. Okay, number 4. Creatine monohydrate. So this is literally one of the best supplements that you can add in for health and performance goals. It's so well researched and it's so cheap. The benefits and the trust that we can put in those benefits relative to the cost makes it a no-brainer for most people, especially if you're physically active in some kind of sport or lifting weights or whatever that may be. It's our most explosive energy source, and it provides the body with a really powerful fuel source for performing at your maximum capacity. So when it comes to getting yourself in shape, it is going to support your muscle building because you're going to be able to perform more weight, more reps, and get more out of the training sessions. And it's also got some benefits for cognition as well. So I actually tend to recommend creatine to any sort of like menopausal women that I work with because it's got a lot of benefits there for some of the side effects of the menopause with like brain fog. But I also recommend it to the sort of 25-year-old guys that I work with that want to get jacked for the beach. It is such an all-rounder. It's definitely something that I take 5 grams every day, most days, year round. I just take a break from it when I'm on holiday or at a festival or it's Christmas or something like that, and that just gives me a natural break away from it. You don't need to load up on it or anything like that. It's just 5 grams a day in water, either around your training sessions or with a meal. Okay, supplement number 5 is a magnesium glycinate. So I used to suffer with insomnia and anxiety many years ago. I started taking magnesium because someone recommended it to me. Now, there is conflicting opinions on this in the research. Does it actually work for sleep? Does it not? But I feel better when I take it, and I do notice it when I don't. And that's not just necessarily sleep. That's also just anxiety, mood, recovery. Again, it's not that easy to get lots of really sort of absorbable magnesium from the diet, especially if you're eating quite a narrow selection of food. And it's one of those where it's not going to hurt to add it in. So yeah, it's controversial, like whether the research agrees with it or not, but I'm an evidence-based nutritionist and I still take it because for me personally, I have noticed a difference. And the clients that I've recommended it to who struggle maybe with anxiety or not sleeping great, it does just help relax the nervous system. So within the nervous system, we've got the sympathetic nervous system that's responsible for fight and flight and kind of being, stimulated and running away from lions and tigers and that sort of thing. And then we've got the parasympathetic nervous system that's responsible for rest and relaxation and getting good sleep and recovery. Magnesium supports the side of the nervous system that's responsible for rest and relaxation, so the parasympathetic nervous system. So for that reason, I add it in, and I do feel a bit of a difference when I do take it and when I don't take it. The next 4 supplements are supplements that I only tend to take when I'm sort of 8 to 12 weeks away from a photo shoot, because they do have a little bit of a benefit, but they're quite expensive. So they're not beneficial enough for me to spend the money on when I'm not pushing myself to the extremes with a photo shoot prep. So first one is a pump formula. So I don't like pre-workouts just because the caffeine just blows me to pieces sometimes, and also the beta-alanine that makes you tingle. I hate it. So I kind of do a DIY pre-workout before I train. I take this and I'll have like a can of Monster to give me a bit of caffeine. The main component in this is citrulline malate, which just basically increases blood flow to the working muscles and helps you get a really good pump on. So when you're lower on carbohydrates, potentially lower on sodium and not feeling that sort of, you know, energized in the gym. It can be harder to get a pump when you're dieting, and the pump is really good for nutrient delivery. It's also good for the mind-muscle connection and really feeling the muscles that you work. So I do tend to add in a pump formula pre-workout when I'm dieting and when I'm sort of 8 to 12 weeks away from a photo shoot. And it's quite nice because as you get leaner and you start to get more vascular, this really helps get the veins popping. So there's a vanity aspect to it as well. Okay, the next supplement that I take, number 7, is a electrolyte formula. So I take this in the morning. Like obviously when you wake up, you are at your peak of dehydration because you've not had a drink for 7 to 9 hours, if that's how much you've been sleeping. So it does make sense to take some added electrolytes in the morning because it just supports with really saturating your cells and getting yourself adequately hydrated for the morning ahead. The reason I take it when I'm dieting and don't tend to take it when I'm not is just I'll take any little, you know, 2% of things that might give me a bit more energy and make me feel a bit better whilst obviously pushing myself with a calorie deficit. Maybe it's something that I'll keep in. Like I do quite like the taste of it. It's quite easy to get, you know, 500 milliliters of water down almost in one because it's really sweet and it's quite nice in the morning. And yeah, it's obviously going to help. Like electrolytes, we know it's not one of those where it's got a question mark over it. We know electrolytes are going to help with hydration status, and we know that hydration status is going to be super important for pretty much everything that we're trying to do, whether it's work, whether it's train, whether it's, you know, everything that you're going to need to perform with your brain, your muscles. Being adequately hydrated is going to help. So yeah. I've started taking an electrolyte supplement in the morning just to support my body a little bit more with hydration. Okay, supplement number 8 is L-carnitine. So again, this is one of those where it's like the benefits relative to the cost probably aren't that great. There are some pieces of research that show that L-carnitine can support with fatty acid oxidation by basically pushing fats into the mitochondria, which is just a fancy way of saying it can help with using fatty acids for fuel. So it's also quite good for the brain, and there are benefits to taking it. Like it is quite a good supplement, but it's just that those benefits are quite small. Like people call it a natural fat burner. If you're literally, like I am right now, on point with everything all the time, then maybe it will give you an extra 1 or 2%, maybe. And right now, whilst I'm looking to get the best possible result during my photo shoot prep, and again, pushing myself to my limits, I'll take that 1 to 2%, but it's not something that I would spend money on year round. It's not even something that I would spend money on if I'm just trying to drop a few kilos for a holiday. But whilst also, you know, having the photo shoot goal in mind, it's just something that I tend to add in. Again, 8 to 12 weeks away from a photo shoot or something, I'll add in some L-carnitine. Okay, the last supplement I'm going to talk about, I only started taking this year. Now, I always struggle with sleep when I'm dieting. It doesn't matter if I'm not even shredded, just when I'm in a deficit for a prolonged period of time, especially a big calorie deficit, I tend to find that I wake up a little bit more in the night and sometimes struggle to get to sleep. And, you know, it just really starts to get to me quite far away from the photo shoot. Now, I've got a business to run, I've got clients to look after, and also, like, I just don't want to be struggling with sleep for weeks on end because it's not great for my health. It's not actually going to be great for my body composition. So this year, because I live in Greece, not in the UK, you can actually get melatonin legally over the counter. Now this by Redcon called Fade Out is one of the best supplements I think I've ever invested in, and I'd be careful how much I recommend it because, like, obviously melatonin you can't even get legally over the counter in the UK, but it has actually changed the game for me a little bit with my sleep. I've been sleeping so well. It's got like 5 milligrams of melatonin in it, and then it's got a few other things like theanine and valerian root, ashwagandha, that sort of thing. It's like a formula of compounds and things that are going to support with sleep quality, but also like just general recovery status, cognition, cortisol management, stress management, that sort of thing. Previously in photo shoot preps, I've taken something from Storm Sports called Support Max Neuro, which is a similar thing, but it just doesn't have the melatonin in it. And the melatonin in this is, yeah, it really has helped my sleep quality, to be fair. I've been sleeping better than I've probably slept in years since taking this. You do need to be careful with melatonin. It's not something that you should take long term, so I'm not going to keep taking this once I've finished the photo shoot prep, because I'll be just getting into my normal healthy routines with morning and evenings to support good sleep quality anyway. But even when I'm in a good routine in the evenings when I'm dieting, I do tend to struggle. But this has absolutely changed the game for me, to be honest. And I don't normally say that about supplements. Like, I am very much in the camp of supplements are like the icing on the cake. You should be looking after your nutrition first. But yeah, this has been a game changer. But I won't be taking it after the photo shoot prep. So that is Fade Out by Redcom. Now you might be wondering, is there no whey protein powder? And there actually isn't. So when I'm in a deficit, I don't actually use protein powder, because I'd rather get my protein from food. I know some people do struggle with getting enough protein in, and that's where they can be useful, but I do not struggle with eating food. So like, I just don't use one. I have got one, but occasionally I'll mix it into the yogurt or mix it into my oats just to give it a bit of flavor, but I don't actually use it that much. I tend to use it more when I'm not in a deficit, because my appetite is not as high. So eating like loads of chicken and egg whites and all that sort of stuff is often not as appealing. So I do use a whey shake when I'm not dieting, but when I'm dieting, I don't use it. I just focus on food because it fills me up more, and I like food, especially when I'm in a deficit. So I don't use a whey powder. But they're the 9 supplements that I'm currently using. If you've got any questions on supplements at all, I know it can be a bit of a minefield. You can end up spending too much money on them. You can take them when it's not appropriate for you. You need to sort everything else out first. And like I say, it's always context specific. There are some that most people are going to benefit from year round. There are others that you're only going to benefit from if you're really pushing yourself, or if you've got everything on point and it's just those 2% and you're willing to invest that sort of money in those 2%, then fine. But hopefully that gives you a good insight into what I'm currently doing. If, as I say, you want me to look at anything that you do take or you're planning to take, and you want a nutritionist to kind of give you their feedback or their insights, then you can contact me on email, ryan@inshapenutrition.co.uk, or you can drop a comment below and I'll give you some support. But hopefully you enjoyed this. Please make sure you hit subscribe. If you want long form content coming from me to support you with your body composition goals on a weekly basis, then subscribe to the channel. It is a new channel, so it's going to take me a little bit of time to get some traction on it. But if you do find the content useful, if you go and watch any of my vlogs or any of the other things that I'm going to post on YouTube, exercise tutorials, whatever it is, then please do hit subscribe, share with a friend, and let me know in the comments if you do find it useful, because any feedback is greatly appreciated, because as I say, I've just got started with the YouTube channel. All right, thanks for watching, and I will catch you next time.